You don't have to hold a mic today, man.
I know. I get to sit in the functional mic holder thing.
Mine just like
shot
at the throat.
Is yours breaking over there?
I think we're good now.
We got a second broken one.
I was looking at you and just like.
Oh yeah, my throat's been a little scratchy, so hopefully I don't like. I mean, I don't think I'm sick, but
yeah. I think it's like some stuff in the air or something. Because my allergies have been jacked up for like 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Coughing up stuff. And
yeah, I just started getting scratchy yesterday, so hopefully I don't like lose my voice here and can't talk.
Yeah, I didn't really have allergies.
What are you drinking?
Until just water.
Oh,
nothing fun. Today is day one of. I don't really know what, but I'm not gonna. I was telling Courtney, I was like basically 75 hard, but I'm not doing 75 hard again.
Okay.
But I've got I'm not gonna drink, eat clean, work out every day.
Like one workout a day.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do the 2 workouts a day.
That's hard, man.
Like I was so exhausted every day, and I mean obviously like I lost weight and gained muscle, but I just was so tired.
Yeah.
And it's really not the best way to go about gaining muscle. By like killing yourself
right all the time. Yeah,
you got to have some recovery in there.
Yeah,
and I just did not have any recovery, so I'm not going hardcore at it. But
no, well, I mean that is so. How long are you trying to do it?
I don't know. I just need to quit drinking.
Yeah, you drinking too much. Yeah. It happens, man.
Yeah.
Well, I just can't. I'm back drinking again.
Yeah.
So you're stopping.
Want some tequila?
Yeah, I'm good right now. I'm not drinking today because tomorrow is going to be probably a heavy drinking day. I'm going on the boat, just hanging out. Like we're not fishing tomorrow. Yeah. So I did it leading up to the competition, and it was 5 weeks about. I did there were a couple occasions where I had like a beer.
Right.
There was one night I had a glass of wine. All over the course of the 5 weeks, I probably had like 3 beers and a glass of wine.
That's impressive.
So I mean, yeah, I quote unquote cheated a little bit. I drank significantly less.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like nominal. But so yeah, you're not drinking. I'm drinking again.
Yeah.
We're not. We gotta get on the same page. well, that's good, Brad. I'm glad for you, man.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Some life changes.
You need something like what helped me with this was I had a reason and like a goal. I mean, I know last time you did 75 hard, but like I don't know if there's something you can kind of point to.
Yeah. I just have 5 kids, and I don't want to die of like liver failure at an early age.
I mean,
so
it's just so you don't know. I mean, there's people that drink way more than we do that live to be 100 years old. Right. You just don't ever know. But I've always said I don't ever want. Obviously, you gotta die somehow, but I don't want it to be for something that's like could have been preventable.
Right.
And it's just because of my own doing. So yeah, keep it in check.
For sure.
That's good.
Well, so you did the 5 weeks leading up to this competition that you just had. That was your first time doing a CrossFit competition?
First one, yeah.
And how'd it go?
It was fun. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
But the anxiety leading up to it was probably the highest anxiety I think I've ever experienced.
Were you scared? Were you just nervous?
No. So the main thing the reason I had so much anxiety, I mean, obviously anything new, and you know that like a lot of people are going to be there watching you, which there's an element to like
some of that pressure,
just nervousness. But the
not wanting to look like a fool
right
in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, like that part of it. But I probably would have been a little nervous regardless. But what really just was eating me up, like I was losing sleep over it. I was just stressing about it. I was just playing it over in my head so many times. There was one of the workouts where we had to do a 135-pound snatch, which is a lift. But when I signed up for the competition 5-6 weeks ago, however long ago it was, the most I'd ever done at that point was 115 pounds. Like that was my max.
Yeah.
And so I had to build up to even get 130.
I'm trying anyway.
Yeah, to get to 135, which was a struggle in and of itself. But not only did I have to be able to do 135, I had to be able to do it 4 reps. And so to do basically your max 4 reps in a workout, like that's so I was just really stressed out about that. And I was doing it with a team. It wasn't just me. So like if it was just me by myself and I get out there and I screw it up, like okay, whatever. But when you're in that workout, like I'm out there on the floor, the other 2 teammates are sitting there waiting for me to finish my portion.
Right.
So there's that element of stress, like I got to get done so they can get back out here and do their portion. They're just sitting there waiting on you. Like that was just the stressful part.
Not one to let some people down.
Let them down. So, but I got it.
Nice.
I got there.
All 4 of them?
It was ugly. Well, when I say four, it was a total of 12 reps in the workout that I would have had to do that weight. I only ended up I did it 6 because we ended up getting time capped. So I didn't have to do the last set.
Gotcha.
But the 6 that I was out there, I was able to do it. I slowed us down a lot, of course, because I had to do it slow. I can't just bang them out because it's basically my max. So I'd have to do one. I'd have to rest 10 seconds, shake out my arms and do another one. Like I was that slow, but I was able to do it. So
that's impressive.
I was thankful. Like that was my goal. I was just hopeful because we practiced that workout, and this did not help. So we practiced that workout the week before, and when we practiced it, so the way that it worked is there's all this other stuff you have to do, but the reps for the snatch portion was 2 reps in the first round, 4 reps in the second round, and then 6 reps for the snatch in the third round. So we practiced it at the gym.
So that way, when you're like dead, you got to do the most.
You got to do the most. I know, but there's other stuff too. Like that's just the snatch. Like there was deadlifts and there was power cleans and there was some gymnastic stuff all in that. And when we were practicing in the gym, when it was my turn to go out, that first round to get the 2 reps, I failed 7 times throughout the process and got it twice. So like I attempted 9 reps. Which took forever, and I was because I'd do it and fail, and have to sit there and wait again and try to get my composure. So it really stressed me out because I'm like, that would be awful if I get out there in the workout and I'm failing that many times to just get my 2 reps. And then in the second round when we practiced it, I did on the 4 I did better. Like I think I failed 1 or 2 reps attempting to get those 4 in the practice. But so I overall failed 9 reps, which just takes so much time.
Right.
But in the workout that we did for the actual competition, I only failed 1 rep in the set of 4. But in the first 2, I was able to get them up without failing. So
there was 3 of y'all on your team?
Yeah.
Is that how it was?
Yeah.
And the other 2 guys?
They had no problem with it. Yeah. I mean, obviously that so the way that we did it was strategic. Like I was the 3rd athlete to go, so that if we did get time capped, I wouldn't even have to do that last round.
Right.
Because if I was going first and I get to the last round, it's going to take me forever to get through those 6 snatches, working through it, and we get time capped and they wouldn't even get to go. So that last round, I went 3rd. So they both went, they finished the last round. And then we had a little bit of time left. And one of the other guys who can lift a lot more weight than me, he could go for me. So he was like, I'll go and just get as many reps as I can. So I didn't even go, but we still didn't even get, he did the deadlifts and the power cleans, which were before the snatch. He did all that stuff, but didn't get to the snatch for the 3rd round. So anyway, all that to say, it's kind of complicated, but there was 4 other workouts. That was just one of them, but there were 4 other things, and I was comfortable with all the other stuff. I mean, it was going to be hard, but it was stuff that I knew I could do.
Right.
That was the only thing that really stressed me out. I had a ton of anxiety, but I'm proud of myself. I did it. I put myself in the situation, made it through.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I wasn't we didn't win anything or do amazing, but I did it.
How many teams were there total?
41.
Dang.
Yeah.
And so did they place 1 through 41?
Yeah.
Do you know where y'all finished?
So we tied for last.
Nice.
So we were 40th.
Okay.
But
well, it's not 41st.
So, but we did better than we thought in the terms of what we practiced, and we actually did better in there. And it sounds like we got destroyed. Yeah, of course, the top teams, if you take the top 10, there's a big gap between us and the top 10. But then everybody else, honestly, if we could have improved any of those workouts by a matter of seconds, it would have made a huge difference. So it's we were in there, because every workout that we did, we didn't place last. We were low, but we still beat teams in every event. We were never last. But because the way they do the scoring is so maybe one of those teams that was ahead of us, we were beating them, but there was this one of the workouts they killed. They just did really good in that particular workout. We just didn't have one that we really stood out on.
Gotcha.
And a lot of that's because of me. So so there was 3 different levels. So there's RX, which is the highest division, for the most amazing athletes in the that around here. The hardest level of the workout. No. So there's RX, there's intermediate, which is what we did, and then scaled, which is the easiest version. So scaled, intermediate, RX. We did intermediate, and my assumption was, because for the most part, like in our programming at our gym, intermediate is kind of where I fall. I actually do a lot of the workouts RX, like prescribed is what that means, and which is the hardest version of the workout or whatever. I would not have been able to do RX. Like there was stuff in there that I couldn't even do for this thing. And intermediate, I could do everything, but it was a little bit of a stretch, because of that snatch, and like it was 50-pound dumbbells on a lot of the movements, which I can do, but I'm not like great, I'm not like going to be really fast or whatever. So I was kind of going up, like stepping up in the difficulty instead of going down. Like scaled was like super easy, but even scaled, I would have not even placed in it, because there's still athletes in there that like step down that probably shouldn't be there.
Just wanted to,
but I could have been a lot more competitive in scaled.
Did y'all, so each individual person could pick that?
No, our team.
So did y'all's gym or whatever have multiple teams at each level?
Yeah, there was only 2 guy teams. There's an RX and then us. We did intermediate, and then there were several girl teams. I think there was 1 intermediate and then a bunch of scaled.
And so did Courtney not do it?
She didn't do it. No, she wants to now. She thought it was cool.
Was she like, dang, I should have done it?
I mean, I don't think so this time, but like she wants to do the next one.
Yeah.
She thought it was kind of cool, and it was cool. I'm glad I did it. Like it pushed me to get better. I learned a lot. Like I feel like if I were to do it again, even competing in intermediate, like I kind of have a better understanding of like what we would need to do if we want to kind of get in the mix. I wouldn't, because it's just crazy seeing the people that compete. Because my assumption going into it was I was going to be against or kind of in with people that are about my size and maybe around my capabilities, but they were all like a level above. You know,
just felt like the little kid there.
I was, yeah. So there was a total. So with 40 teams or whatever, that's basically like 120 athletes or whatever you want to call it. I was probably 117th in terms of size. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, I mean, you
Odds
look
were not in your favor.
Not in my favor. When I think in intermediate, I'm like, okay, it'll be, I'll be going against people kind of my skill level, my size, but no, like as though there's a weightlifting portion where you do your max lift, for different lifts, and the numbers that they were putting up were just. It
sounds like some of those intermediate people were just sandbagging.
There was probably some sandbagging, but it's just the people that compete are just a lot more serious, and it's just different. And the programming for this particular event, I would say that like intermediate was actually more RX, like because of the 50-pound dumbbells and the 135-pound barbell, like that's typically your RX standards, but the actual RX. They still had 50-pound dumbbells in the workouts. Like there wasn't that much of a difference. I mean, there was a couple of scales, like we had to do less reps and a couple of things and this, that, and the other, but it was basically the same thing as RX. The biggest difference was the barbell was 155 pounds in RX versus the 135. So anyway,
think you could have done that once
in a snatch? No. 135 like I might could get 140 maybe. Like 135 is like.
But you did 135 4 times, right?
6 times in the workout.
6 times.
Yeah. So I mean, like I might could get
after being exhausted from other stuff.
Yeah, I might could get 140, 145. I mean, I'm telling you, like it's a push. Like 135 it's not easy.
So a snatch, is that
for me
basically a deadlift, but then you bring it here?
No, it's. I mean,
I don't really know what that means.
So it's a wider grip. It's an Olympic lift. I mean, and it's very complicated. Like there's so much technicalities to it. But you start on the floor. And I mean, you're raising it all the way from the floor and throwing it over your head and dropping under it, essentially.
Gotcha.
It's just, but like the thing, because it is so technical, like if you mess up in one portion of that pull, or if you thrust it and it kind of comes away from your body too much, or like any little thing that you kind of miss, especially on a heavier weight for you, you're gonna fail the lift. Like it's gonna end up, putting the weight somewhere that you end up dropping it, or
yeah.
Anyway.
They don't judge you based on your
form.
Right?
No. Like if it were an Olympic weightlifting, yes, but that's not what this is. This is a workout in CrossFit. There are some standards like that. Like it was a power snatch, so like technically we couldn't squat snatch it, which would have been helpful. Like if you can drop low enough which a
So
squat.
you just had to bend over.
So
not
like
bend your knees
I had
as
it.
much?
You can, but you can't. Your hips can't go below parallel,
Gotcha.
which is pretty low. So like you can still squat under it. You just can't squat too much. But
Yeah.
I mean that's still pretty low. So anyway, like there were some standards that you had to make sure you met to get the lift, but
Interesting.
you could do it sloppily, like because it is heavy. So like I'm not pretty doing it. It's called starfish, like where you like spread your like I'm doing that, instead of being like real smooth and fluid with it. And like I would catch it and it would be kind of low, so I'd have to kind of press it out to get it fully locked out. Which you have to do that. Like that's to count the rep, so you have to lock it out. So yeah, like if you see the video of me, like it looks ugly, but I'm getting it.
Hey,
So
that's all that matters.
that's
is getting
right,
it.
because it's a struggle.
Was most of the teams there like somewhat local in our area, or was there a lot of like out of state?
Yeah, it was probably I don't know for sure.
Kind of Pensacola.
Yeah,
surrounding areas?
they were from all over because like we were the only team. Like there was a team from Fairhope and us, and that was really it from over here. I think there were some teams from Tallahassee, and yeah, people kind of come from all over.
Decent traveling.
Yeah.
Is there other events that y'all are going to try to do, or is that just like one a year hit up that one?
I mean, CrossFit has a ton of like, there's if you want to compete, you can compete like
Every week.
there's just stuff. Yeah, there's stuff going on all the time. But for me, I mean, I'm not gonna necessarily
We should
pursue
do
that.
one out here in the parking lot.
I do a CrossFit, yeah, man, yeah, absolutely, that'd be fun. But it was a good time. It pushed me to get better, and leading up to it, like I did my workouts with heavier weights than I normally would have, just trying to get more comfortable using 50-pound dumbbells and 135-pound barbell in my workouts.
What all were you having to do with a 50?
So we had to do snatches, dumbbell snatches in one of the workouts.
That's just like in between.
Yep, and going overhead. What really sucked, one of the workouts, it started with rowing, and then it was 50. Now, it was a team, so we could break it up between the three of us, which is helpful, but still it sucked. So it was rowing, and then 50 dumbbell thrusters, which suck. So like you're squatting down and then pressing overhead, two 50-pound dumbbells. I mean, it sucks. And then it was you had it's box step overs with the two 50-pound dumbbells. So you're holding the two 50s and you're stepping over the box. And then after that was dumbbell push press. So like you just throw it, you can't re-dip under it, but you can like squat down a little bit, not all the way down, but just a little bit, and then throw it over your head. 50 of those, and then it was wall balls after that. But like
that's a lot of shoulders, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was the
My
last
shoulders would be toast.
It was the last workout of the day too. So like we had already done the other three events, and then we did that one.
Jeez.
So yeah, it was a lot.
I'd be struggling just to put my arms above my head at that point.
Yeah, well, you train for it. I didn't feel that bad. The main thing is my back, just because leading up to it, like it's still kind of tweaked now. It's just sore and tight. And it's just because leading up to the competition, I was lifting a lot of heavier weights for me, just preparing for it.
A lot of strain on you.
And then, of course, the event, I mean, you're just using your back so much for all that stuff. Yeah, so that was the main thing. But everything else kind of feels pretty good.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's impressive. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was fun. I definitely want to do it again. You should do it with me.
Yeah.
Start doing some CrossFit stuff.
Yeah, once I get back in shape.
Yeah, man.
So
what are you, like, the workouts that you're doing? Are you using any kind of particular programming, or are you just kind of making up your stuff?
So we have the Pelotons, and so on there is a weightlifting section, and so that's what I did this morning. And so the one I did this morning, it was just called full body. So we did just some shoulder press. Everything was with dumbbells.
You said weights. Are you?
Well, no, I mean me and the person. On the
Oh,
screen.
okay. I was like, Courtney's already.
No. She does want to start working out again, but she can't yet.
I was gonna say
she's got to give it a couple.
Kind of quick.
Weeks. Yeah. But it encompasses a little bit of everything, like especially the full body. The one this morning was shoulders and biceps and legs, and just doing squats and stuff with dumbbells and all that. But I still have that functional trainer, I guess what they're called. But the whole setup that I bought that we had at the other house, I haven't really been using it a lot because it's just easier to use the programming on Peloton because you actually have, like, I'm obviously no expert in weightlifting, so to like make sure I'm pushing myself and doing the right moves, having that person on the screen there is a lot easier. But I do have that if I want to do any other moves or actual bench press or anything like that, I do have the equipment for that. But obviously we got the Peloton, so I do have the bike and the treadmill. So I'll be running and biking some.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to
cardio.
do less cardio than I was when I did 75 hard, which the reason I did as much cardio then is because doing weights twice a day would have really sucked.
Right.
So
right.
most of the time I would do one
Yeah.
workout of weights and one workout cardio.
Yeah.
Obviously cardio is still good for you, but I want to try to go more, I want to say hardcore, but more heavy on the weightlifting and see if I notice a difference this time around of muscle gain compared to the last time. Because as much as I was going and the cardio and the weightlifting and just burning so many calories, like that probably had to have hindered my muscle gain some, right?
I mean,
talk about like you start burning that many calories because I mean you go do 45 minutes on the bike or the treadmill, you're burning quite a few calories.
yeah, it's probably not like. It depends. I mean, as long as you're eating enough protein and getting enough calories. I mean, I think people like bodybuilders worry about it a lot, obviously. But like, yeah, for the training that kind of we do, you know, as an everyday thing, it's not going to prohibit, you know, your ability to put on muscle doing cardio. I don't subscribe to that. And a lot of the stuff that I've seen as given reasons is like, yeah, that's not going to hurt you. Because a lot of, you know, people that are truly bodybuilding are like scared to walk around because they're scared to burn calories and lose muscle mass. But
there's those allergies. I obviously need to burn calories. I have a lot of stuff to burn off.
But building muscle will help with that.
Yeah.
You know, like the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you're going to burn, even just existing. You know, like your body just burns more calories, which is so, like, I'm at a point, it's just so hard with as much as I work out as it is and as active as my everyday life is, and the fact that I have burned a lot of fat and put on a decent amount of muscle, it's very hard for me to get the calories that I need to put on more weight. But I don't think you'll have a problem building muscle if you did a little cardio.
Yeah.
Cardio is
I'll
good
still
for
do
you.
some. I just don't. I probably won't do it every day like I was.
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. I think that's a good plan. I mean, I feel like weight training, resistance training is probably the best for most people. Like focusing on that and doing a little bit of cardio here and there. Because, I mean, obviously you want to, your heart's important and you want to have a good cardiovascular system. So I think that's good.
Well, hopefully I can knock off some weight as quick as I did last time.
Yeah. Well, I think you can. And especially, I mean, if you just quit drinking and didn't even work out, like if you just cut that out, and you would lose weight doing that. Because, I mean, you're just getting so many calories from drinking.
That and snacking, eating crap foods. So.
Yeah.
Be good. Maybe I can give me a 6-pack by May.
Well, good for you, man.
We'll see.
Well, you just had a new baby.
Just had a new baby.
How's that going?
Baby number 5.
What's that? I mean, right now it's probably a little different, but I mean, I think in probably about 3 or 4 weeks, you won't even, life as usual.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part is like when we try to go do something, which obviously she's only a week old, so we haven't really done a whole lot.
Sure.
But what did we do last week? We came home Thursday, and then they had opening day ceremony for baseball Thursday night. So she was like 2 days old going out to baseball games. That was probably, I guess, so far the most difficult is just getting 5 kids out of the house.
Anywhere.
In the car.
Yeah. So how many car seats do you have?
I mean, technically 5.
Kelton is he in a booster? Okay.
Knox is still in like actual harness. It's like a mix between a booster and a car seat.
Yeah.
Still got the harness. And then I have a forward-facing baby, a rear-facing baby, and then a baby in the carrier.
Dang.
You should see our car.
I need to look in it. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And this is her. She's in the. Is it an Expedition?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Expedition Max. Yeah. And so we moved some stuff around. So the new baby is actually in the middle of the middle row, and then we have the 1-year-old, and then Kelton, and so Kelton can kind of help with some of that situation, and then Knox and Cohen are in the back seat. Knox is obviously can do his stuff himself. We still have to help Cohen buckle up a little bit, but that front, the seat in the middle folds up so far, like it's easy to just reach back there and buckle them. But then we put the baby in the middle because it's easy to just reach over and grab them.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't know if I've talked to you. We haven't done a podcast in a little bit, but Kelton is back in public school now.
I knew he was. I don't know if you told me or Courtney was telling me. She knew that y'all had put him back in school somehow. So, yeah, how's that going?
It's been good. That's another reason why he ended up moving from the back to the middle because he's a car rider for now. And so getting in and out is way easier versus, like, jumping over other kids.
Yeah.
That whole thing. But
so, is he Gulf Shore? I guess Gulf Shore.
He's a Gulf Shore, yeah. So we, homeschooling was never, like, our goal or our plan. The only reason we did homeschool is because he was having some issues, behavioral issues in kindergarten, and they didn't really do a whole lot to like help that situation. They were just like, it got to the point where they're like, we're gonna have to suspend him for a few days. Like he's like 5 years old.
Yeah,
just gonna kick him out of kindergarten.
Yeah,
it's not like he was like beating the crap out of people or anything crazy. So that's why we decided to homeschool, and then honestly, it was way better for our lifestyle and our schedule and I was able to take them on a couple trips that they would not have been able to go on.
Sure.
But with the fifth baby coming and Kelton, he's still a tough kid.
Yeah.
And Courtney's like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to take care of 2 toddlers and a newborn baby and actually
do homeschool
him the way he needs to be homeschooled.
Right.
And so we thought about maybe waiting until the fall and putting him in second grade. But we talked with Salty, who works at Gulf Shores, and with the schedule to finish out the rest of the year, he was in like 1 week, and then they ended up having like it wasn't the fun run. They ended up having something, so it was like fun stuff at school, and then he was in a week, and now he's out for spring break, and there's a lot of fun stuff this time of year. And so he said it may be good to go ahead and get him in and like he can kind of ease into it, opposed to just like, here's 5 days a week of hard school.
Right. Yeah, I always remember like as a kid going to school in August, and it's just so like it sucks because it's like here we go. Right.
But right now it's like every week is like something fun to do. They got a field trip coming up and.
Yeah, they're getting close to being done. I think teachers check out.
Like, school is awesome.
I know, this is amazing. I don't do anything. Just party all the time.
It'll be a rude awakening when he goes back next year. Maybe, but, I was afraid that it was going to be tough. I mean, he's had his struggles with it, but I was afraid. He would go fish with me so often, and he loves fish.
I was going to ask about that. I was like, how's he going to be able to handle that?
When he finds out that this means he doesn't get to go fish whenever I go, I was like, it could be bad, but it hadn't been an issue.
Okay, that's good.
Because we did move and we do live in Gulf Shores now, a lot of the kids, there's a ton of kids in our neighborhood, and they obviously all go to Gulf Shores. Not all of them are in his grade, but when I told him he was going, he was like super excited.
Yeah.
He loves it. Now he wants to ride the bus, which I'm not sure about yet.
Yeah, I get that.
The bus kind of scares me.
Yeah.
But it'll be way easier because, like, right now, for one, we've had a lot of terrible weather. Fishing still hasn't been great, so I haven't been fishing a ton. We just had a baby. I haven't fished in like 2 weeks, so I've been home a lot more than I usually am, and so I can help take him to school or stay home with the babies if Courtney takes them or whatever. But
are your parents still here?
No, they left.
That's tough.
They left on Sunday.
That's tough. You're probably like, please stay.
I know. I was like,
don't leave.
You could just move here. They're like, well, you got 2 brothers and a sister. I'm like, I have all the grandkids. Not all. I have most of the grandkids.
Yeah.
I have more than half of
a whole
grandkids.
Majority here.
Yes. But they, after being here a little bit, they have talked about maybe buying something down here and trying to split some time.
Okay.
That'd be cool. Be nice. We'll see. But
I remember just having Annalise and having one, and Courtney's mom was here for, I don't know, a week or 2, maybe in the beginning. And I remember when she was about to go back, and I'm like, please don't leave. It's like, don't leave us alone. It's just so helpful, with getting stuff done. And
I wish I could, because both my parents still work. My dad works from home, though. He can work from anywhere. And my mom's a nurse. But I wish we made enough money that I could just, like, pay her to just, like, go down here and help.
Right. I know. That'd be nice.
I don't know that she'd want to do that. That's
right.
That's a tough full-time job there, but
yeah,
we need like a nanny or something.
You got a lot of kids, man. 5.
Courtney, I was like, don't you know some like hot 18-year-old that can come to any She's like,
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah, that'll work.
And then she's like, it'd be like Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm like, what? So you want a dude that dresses like a woman?
Yeah, like,
It's like,
I don't want to go that
here.
route. Yeah, I haven't fished. I haven't been that long, but I haven't fished in almost a week. And, just with the competition, I was like worse. I was worthless last like Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Just because I had so much anxiety leading up to this weekend. And then and the weather's kind of been crap, the last few days. So haven't really had a chance to.
All that time of not fishing, you're gonna make me get another not net tomorrow. Everybody, I'll post a podcast. But
I was gonna try to. Well, I was gonna try to do it
I
today.
should have just took the cards and edited it.
I'm sorry. I'll try to get it up before the meeting tomorrow, at least. Oh well, and I forgot we're doing the meeting. We're hanging out on the boat. I think Buddy and Nikki are going though too. So either we're all gonna miss it or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know what
meeting's gonna get canceled tomorrow.
Probably so. But I was gonna try to get it up today. I was gonna do it this morning, but I slept in a little bit, and so like today has been a little busy because we worked out at 8:30. I had a meeting at 11. Basically as soon as that got done, it was like 12:30. I scarfed down some lunch, came here. I got another meeting at 3. So like I just haven't had a good gap, So we'll see. Try to get it out there.
Squeeze it in when you can.
That's right. And I, obviously like this weekend I wasn't gonna do anything. I wasn't gonna get it done. My brain was fried and I couldn't think straight.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I guess y'all hung out because there was stuff Saturday too, right?
Yeah. So
y'all did the Sunday. But.
Yeah. So like the RX and scaled teams went on Saturday.
Gotcha.
And so so some of the people from our gym were competing on that day, and then I competed Sunday. So we got a place over there and just stayed the whole weekend and did the thing.
Nice.
It's cool. So the guys from our gym that did the RX, I think there were like 34 teams or 35 teams, and they came in 6th or 7th, and they like, which is really really good.
Was one of the guys that did when we did CrossFit? I don't remember his name.
Oh, Lee, yeah, that was one of them. And they're all like one of them's the owner, and the other two are coaches at the gym, and they're very good. And they were like, it's funny because they did that well, and like they weren't even that serious about it. Like they practice some, and I mean obviously they train all the time anyway, so like they're pretty confident and comfortable with it. But like they didn't, had they like come into it like, all right, let's try to podium, or they probably could have done it, but they were just real kind of haphazard with it and just doing it for fun.
There, busting it out.
I know it's impressive, like watching like elite human beings do things, and then you try those same things, and you're like, okay,
I mean, obviously, like when we did the CrossFit thing for the video, there's a huge gap between all of us and Lee, but it was funny watching him because like we would be, I don't even remember what we'd do, like 3 things or whatever, and like I'd be on the second one, like he's already done with all 3, like almost done running. Like, how's that even possible?
Well,
he did it that fast?
And he's even doing the hardest version of the workout, and you're scaling a few things with the weight and movement. Like he's doing the absolute hardest,
and then he's done. He's like, yeah, it was nothing.
Yeah, and still, no, it's crazy, man. It's just unbelievable to watch that. And even like as good as those guys are in our gym, like as impressive as they are, then you've got like the CrossFit Games athletes, like the actual ones that compete in the actual like real thing, and they're at a whole nother level. Like it's impressive. Like these humans, what they can do with their bodies these days is crazy.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that the other day watching basketball, and I don't remember what game we were watching, but whoever was up like so big, and they ended up just emptying the bench, put all the players that never play out there. And you're like, it's crazy to even be on a Division I basketball team. Like,
right,
you're a good basketball.
Right, that's right.
And I mean, obviously they haven't played the whole game, or whatever, most of the year. But then when they take out all these good starters and they put in those guys, you're like, the skill level between those two, but how good those guys still really are. Like it looks like they don't even know how to play basketball.
Compared,
you just watch these guys that are so good.
Yeah,
and you're like, these guys are awful. But if I tried to play them in basketball, it'd be embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
So it's just crazy how much those skill levels can. And then you jump to like the guys in the NBA, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Whole completely new level.
Yeah, it's
Wild.
yeah, being and that's what's actually cool about CrossFit in that regard is like it's almost like you get to see I understand the level of difficulty and hardness of something and then watch people that do it and do it as easily or as capable as they are. Like you get a true it would be like me going and getting to play in the NBA, you know, like I get to let me go try this out and see where I compare, and like you get that comparison, you're like, oh
Yeah.
there's a huge gap here. Because I mean, when you watch things, a lot of the times you're like, oh, like I could probably do that, you know, or maybe scale it down a little bit, but I could probably be pretty close to what they're doing. But then you like when you actually do it, you're like, yeah, I'm not even anywhere close.
It's like watching golf. We were watching golf the other day, and somebody was like, "Golf is so boring." I'm like, I used to hate watching golf, which I don't play golf anymore. But in Tennessee, when I started playing golf, then I started watching it on TV, and you appreciate how freaking good those guys are. Because then you go try to hit it, the ball just like going over here, or you like barely even hit it, doesn't go anywhere, and so it's impressive watching them. If you're not a golfer, you don't know much about it. You watch it on TV, yeah, it's boring.
Sure,
it looks simple. How much it takes to be able to do what those guys are doing.
Yeah,
it's insane.
And they're playing on courses that are like the level of difficulty, you know, is
level expert,
right, through the roof.
Yeah.
Which you don't even take that. You don't even think about that aspect of it. I mean, even if you're a really good golfer and you go play on the courses they play, you're gonna look like an idiot. You know, it's incredible. It really is.
Yeah. Sure.
Level of athletes. I've never been an athlete in my life, and definitely not an athlete. But it's fun to train and do something.
Well, you're pretty athletic now.
I mean, I don't know. That might be a little generous, but I feel like you're pretty athletic. I feel like if you like really actually,
if I put some time into it, maybe I was never like crazy athletic. I could have been more athletic. I just never put the time into it, and like going through high school and stuff, like
Are you competitive? Like you get competitive? Okay.
I put more time into girls and
that happens.
Other inappropriate things.
Yeah.
And I think that's why now, like I see Kelton, who can be athletic, and I like makes me push him so hard because I knew like I could have been better than I was just because I never put the time or effort into it. I like don't want him to not
squander it, squander his opportunities. Yeah, I guess there's probably a fine line there. You don't want to like push them too hard, but you don't want to look back and regret it either.
Did you get a Cobia rod?
Yeah, I haven't picked it up.
I was in there the other day. I was like, "Who got a Cobia rod?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's gotta be Matt's."
Yeah, James Frisky Fins. He built it for me. I'm assuming it. He said I think it's a Thrasher blank.
Cool.
I think because I asked him. We had those. I don't know what kind of blanks they were, but we had those blanks up at the thing. And I'm like, hey, could you make a Cobia rod out of one of those? And I assumed that's what he would have used, but he said I think it's a Thrasher. So nice. Yeah, pretty sweet.
It's about that time.
I know. I would love to have a shot at a Cobia. I just like pier fishing. I don't know that I'll spend it because pier fishing for Cobia is like it stresses me out, especially trying to film out there with all those guys that are like that serious about it. I'd love to be able to take my boat out and have an opportunity at it, but don't tower, don't have all the things. I would imagine you could still see one if you get lucky.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's definitely got to be like to be able to see it, especially without a tower. Like it had to be pretty flat out there, and obviously all the way up top, and it'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I know now that I have the bigger boat and stuff, and I was thinking about pier fishing the other day. I was like, I don't even know if I want to go pier fishing.
Yeah.
Like my pier fishing days might be over.
Yeah, it's just so. I mean, it's fun, it's rewarding, but like trying to make a video out there with all the people and the things that we want to catch you're fishing with the very serious fishermen, the kings, the cobia, the tarpon, all that, and it's competitive and it's kind of a mess,
Yeah.
I feel like tarpon fishing out of the boat should be doable. Like
I'm looking forward to trying that. I tried it a couple times last year, but it was more towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
I still didn't really know exactly what I was doing, trying to figure out where to be set up and all that stuff, but definitely going to do more of that this year.
Are you going to live bait fish for them some, or are you going to?
Probably. So one of the times we went, we did get live bait, and had swim baits tied on. And so I've talked with people. I've heard that a lot of people just anchor up and drift out live baits.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so boring. So I tried to do that, and then I just got bored and just started just kind of slowly driving, seeing if I could find them.
Yeah,
which is not the best idea because if you run them over, like
you're screwed.
Screw your chances.
Yeah.
So you're definitely better off
just waiting for them to come to you.
if you can have the patience.
Yeah.
To sit there and wait, because I mean, there's nothing else to do. You're just sitting there.
Yeah. I mean, which if you go into it with that mindset, it could be fun. I mean, just sit there and drink some beer, take some snacks. I mean, have some people with you, hang out, in between while you're hopefully and then obviously
first time I went, I took Kelton too. So
yeah, if you go out with some buddies,
sitting there for too long wasn't much of an option.
Yeah, I think you just kind of prepare yourself and plan to get out there and be willing to wait, because all like the serious Cobia fishermen around here, that's what they do. I mean, they have a swim bait tied on in case they see them, and they come around not close to where their live baits are drifting or whatever, but they all just set up and wait. So, yeah, I definitely want to try some of that. And the one time I've done that, I went with Chris Feche, and we didn't have any tarpon come through, but I caught a king, and we kept getting cut off by kings because we were using fluorocarbon, but we ended up catching one. So, like, there may be some other things going on. Yeah. And we weren't that far out. Like, I mean, obviously, the line they run, but there were a bunch of kingfish out there that day.
I'd be fine with king fishing.
Yeah, so.
You get a bite, I'd say screw tarpon, tie in some water.
Right, yeah, I know. Just go.
King video.
That's right. But yeah, I would very much enjoy Cobia fishing that way. But from everything that I hear too, like even the guys that know what they're doing, have the towers, like have it pretty dialed in. It's been tough for them. It sounds like
I think there's
the last several years.
Not a lot around here, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I don't really know because I haven't really done any research, but the little bit you hear half the people say we don't have cobia. Then you hear a lot of there's so many artificial reefs now that they're just hanging
on those, yeah.
Opposed to like just having a bunch of free swimmers. So
yeah. Well, I mean, there was one day last year before last, I can't remember. I went out with Nathan Rich in Navarre on the kayaks, and we were fishing the reefs there, and we had a dang school of cobia that was hanging out underneath us most of the day. He caught two. I could never get one to eat me, but he one was undersized, one was a little over legal that he caught, but there were probably like 30 of them below us. And I mean, it was, I think it was in the summer, like middle of the summer. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy to see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Cobia, like sight fishing a cobia, obviously they're a relatively dumb fish. Mm-hmm. So like if you do get to see one and you throw something, there's a pretty good chance they're going to eat. Doesn't mean you're going to catch on. Maybe a million things can go wrong, but like pretty good shot of them eating it. That style of fishing is just so fun. Yeah. Like I love sight fishing and just the adrenaline and being able to catch a fish that's like kind of rare-ish, more rare. For sure. I would enjoy that. Yeah. So maybe I'll put like a ladder on the front of my boat.
You should.
one of those guys.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
We can at least run out to the ships or something and try to catch it. It's obviously not as cool. You're not necessarily
right. I mean, obviously, and I went one time with you, and did that, and it was fun. I mean, obviously catching a cobia, but you're right. Like that, catching them that style is less appealing to me than like looking for them and seeing them and and throwing at them and getting to see them eat. A lot of fun. The last time I went fishing, I was on the beach. I don't know if you happen to see the video, but I was sight fishing redfish, and best sight fishing day I've had. I caught 5 that day. My audio crapped out on the first 3 fish, so I couldn't even show that. But the last 2 fish were pretty big. And
right over there?
It was in Mobile Street. Yeah.
I watched the intro to that, and you obviously walked pretty far one way or the other.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I was like, I wonder if that's like Pickens or something. But
no, I walked like well over a mile. I mean, maybe 2 miles. Like I walked.
Did you see that thing? Your structure that you still never told me about?
No, I went the other way. Yeah, so I didn't see it. But they were like, it was the craziest day because I wasn't sure. I hadn't even seen any redfish on the beach yet. I knew a couple people had caught some, but I was like, it should be the time of year that there should be some opportunities.
Were they schooling or were there a lot of singles? I obviously didn't watch your whole video.
Yeah, they were schooled up. Like, well, and you wouldn't know much because I talked more about it and kind of showed more in those first 3 catches but I lost all the audio, so I didn't even show anything from that. But like I walked up to one of these cuts, probably 150, 200 fish, chilling. I was like, holy cow! You could see them. Water was like super clear that day.
That's another reason I thought you were in Pensacola.
Yeah, it was
the
like
water was so clear.
It was like perfect conditions. So I'm like, holy cow! Like I was getting so amped up, and like, as soon as I threw in there, hooked up, called him, put him back, threw in again, hooked up, called another one, and then after that, it got a little harder for me. But I casted a bunch more. They didn't leave. They just kind of stopped hitting after I caught those 2 fish. And then I ended up catching another one, about 10, 15 minutes later. Finally got another eat. Caught a trout out of there that was like 20 inches. Because I'm looking at all these redfish, and there was evidently just a trout hanging out with them. So I caught 3 redfish and a trout. And and then I kept, I'm like, I'm not leaving. So I casted. I fished probably another 20, 30 minutes throwing at them. Still hadn't left. They wouldn't eat. So I was like, all right, well, let me move on. So I walked down and ended up tracking a school that was moving down the bar. Probably.
So at this point, you probably thought you had a video done. Little did you know you had no audio.
Yes, and that's where I was. Like I felt good about it, but I was like, this is fun. I'm having a good time. I'm like, let me see if I can find some other schools. So, but I came up on another school, probably about 50 fish, and caught 2 out of that, which that's what I had the audio on. Yeah. So I was able to, and both of them were pretty large. One of them was gigantic. So like I had a video just for those 2 fish, fortunately. Because even in the beginning of my video. Which is weird. Like I had the audio from like the beginning, didn't have the audio from like several clips of catching those fish, and then my audio came back. I don't know what happened. I was thankful I had what I had, but anyway, I talked about that. I'm like, if I just catch 1 today, like that's a good day for walking the beach, sight fishing reds, and I caught 5, but I caught those 2, just tracking them down the bar. And the second one that I caught out of that school was, what had to be over 40 inches. I didn't measure it. I don't know if you saw it in any of the videos or whatever, but just a massive freaking tank of a fish. That's crazy. But being able to sight fish in general, it's just fun, man. Yeah. Like a lot of times these fish that we see on the beach, redfish in particular around here, they get real finicky. And even if you're seeing them and throwing at them, like sometimes it's really hard to get them to eat. But like that day, they were fired up. I was like, man, it was the best sight fishing day I've had.
End of this week looks good weather-wise. May have to cruise my boat down the beach.
Yeah, no, you should. If you were in a boat, you probably would have seen a ton. Because the
water will clear up quick enough after all this.
Yeah, that's
10-foot waves.
That's what you'll need. Some clean water, but yeah, if you can get it. If you really wanted to, you could shoot over to Pensacola if the water's cleaner. But obviously, that's a little more effort. But no, man. It was fun. It was awesome. That was the last fishing I did. But if any opportunity I get at sight fishing, I enjoy. I'm not as good at it as Brant. In one of the catches that I lost audio, I'm like, I feel like Brant Peacher, because he's just good at that. And that's mostly what he does is like sight fishing.
I know that day we took Nikki out on my boat, we ended up trying to sight fish some reds at the end of that little trophy. We're both standing up front, and he's like, "There's one." I'm like, I don't see anything.
Yeah.
He's like, "Nope, there's another one right there." I'm like, I don't see it.
I've been in that same situation.
Like, turn your head like this. So I tilted my head a little bit, and I was like, holy crap, I can see it now. Something to do with the way the sun hits your glasses, I guess. I turned my head slightly.
You ever see
it? But
he's very good at it. Yeah. He's an accurate caster. His vision is just unbelievable. He will see stuff way before you do. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. Excuse you. Yeah, sorry. I ate some tostadas for lunch and little beans and stuff on there. So
nice. At least it came out that.
Yeah, I'm trying to save you from
stinging it up
from the other end. So when's the next day you're gonna get to go fishing? Do you know? Going tomorrow? Yeah. Taking the boat or?
No, it's still supposed to be too bumpy offshore. I don't really know what to do inside the pass right now. I'll probably go fish the seawall early and see if there's any Spanish in the pass.
Okay. Do you know if they've caught any yet?
James said that they'd caught some a few days ago.
Okay. I have not caught a Spanish yet, but one of the days before I went sight fishing, I was one of the whiting fishing days I went on. I got out there and it was kind of late. It was probably like 8:30 in the morning, which I was surprised. But I walked out, and as soon as I walked out, I mean, there was a huge school of Spanish
Really?
busting. I mean, this was like, oh man, I can't remember. I mean, it was like the first day that anybody caught Spanish anywhere along the north central Gulf Coast, and I was just surprised they were already kind of over here. But that's the only time I've seen them. Was that one day?
Yeah, I know they've been catching them further east of here, but James did say they caught some at the pass. So
yeah, all right.
Give it a shot.
You gonna throw ES lures or gotchas
probably
or something?
pick up some gotcha plugs.
Yeah, that you can't go wrong.
Like I did that last year, and I was throwing ES lures and stuff, and a bunch of it was mostly tourists that were out there too, and they were by far catching more than me throwing gotchas.
For whatever reason, like from the beach, ES lures crush. Like when you're having to throw at Spanish and stuff, like you'll crush them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're fishing from the pier, like anywhere there's a little more pressure, like you're fishing around people, a structure, it's really hard to get them to eat it.
Yeah,
I don't really understand that. Can't put my finger on it, but
yeah, I don't know either.
gotchas work.
But that is true.
Because I mean, you go walk the beach and you come across a school of Spanish and throw an ES lure, they're gonna eat it. Like I mean, it's like no problem. But you go throw an ES lure off the pier or at the seawall with a bunch of Spanish people catch them, right? You know, like
A lot tougher.
they're not gonna eat it. I don't can't explain that one, Brad.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? But hopefully they're there. I need a video.
Yeah, I don't have one either.
This weekend looks good though. I'm gonna try to take the boat out at least one day.
Yeah.
Triggerfish is still open. I'm gonna go catch some triggerfish.
How long is that open? How much time we
it's
got?
open until I think it's open until May 31st.
Oh, okay, a couple months.
Pretty sure, yeah.
All right.
If we get good enough, I might run out and try to go troll for wahoo again.
Ooh, you enjoy that?
I enjoy catching them and eating them. Trolling is boring.
Yeah.
But I mean, having an opportunity at catching a big fish is.
So have you?
Worthwhile.
Did you troll for kings much last year? Did you ever do that near shore?
We trolled much. I did troll some near shore, like really close. It was like catching Spanish and stuff. But last year, most of the kings I caught were just going out to
at the rigs.
I mean, you can definitely catch them.
Trolling
closer.
Yeah, I would think. I mean,
there's a spot. I don't know the actual number. When the kings are there, you'll know and you'll see all the charter boats. But it's a little bit. I don't know if somebody's gonna get mad at me for saying this, but it's a little bit past the buoy outside the pass, and a hair to the east. One of the guys calls it some number, but I didn't have the number on my chart, so I don't know if it's got an official spot, but something there is, I don't know if that's just where the kings like to run or if there's an actual structure they hang out on, but they'll set up there and just drift back like little L-wise and stuff and smoke them right there. But you could probably troll around, just do a circle around all these charter boats or something.
Yeah, that'd be funny. I mean, I would assume you could just troll on the beach and probably get lucky and catch them. It feels like you need to be close to some kind of structure, though.
You could probably do it out. There's a ton of those reefs just south of the pier. You could probably like zigzag through there and pick one up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to get all that information, like the public numbers. Are those public, those reefs? Okay.
Yeah, once you get your new boat and they have you have your Garmin on there, like it should already be on there.
Okay.
If not, I mean, I got it. I can.
Yeah, because I want to do some of that. Like that sounds fun, catching kings and stuff like that. Yeah. Kings and
Tarpon. We need to go
Tarpon.
out to the rigs. When it's got a slick day, take that little boat out to the triple rig.
How far out is that?
It's like 12 miles from Fort Morgan.
Okay.
But you're only like 8 or 9 miles off the beach.
I got you. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I almost said a bad word. We messed them up one day last year. It was insane.
Like the kings?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I've seen.
Throwing out dead cigar minnows.
I saw some of those videos.
Dang, they smoked them.
Yeah.
We had a day, me and Sean, we put in Pensacola, and I think it was in September, when they sometimes catch sailfish out there in Navarre. And so we took my boat from Pensacola to Navarre, trolling around, trying to see if we could look up on a sailfish. I think somebody had caught one like 2 days before. We didn't catch anything, didn't get a bite. And we hit up some reefs over there, and we were coming back, and it was getting late. And I was like, neither one of us had a video at this point. I was like, my buddy gave me this spot out of Pensacola. It's like usually always some trigger fish or some beeliners. Like we'll just go bottom fish and try to get something. So go out there. We just got chicken rigs tied on, drop it, instantly ate, cut off. Like that's kind of weird. Drop another one, instantly ate, cut off. So we tie on wire, throw out a cigar minnow, instant, bam, big king. Both of us. I mean, we could have sat there.
I remember that
all day.
You caught like 9 or something?
Probably. I can't remember exactly. It was a bunch. I mean, I tied on some wire on an ES lure, threw it down, jigged it once, bam. And then when we got done, it was getting late, and we both had videos. We had our limited kings in the cooler, and we still had like a few more cigar minnows. So I just threw out these dead cigar minnows, and they just came up and were just eating.
Oh my gosh, that's wild!
Like there were so many kings, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like a fluke. Yeah. Like I mean, a one-off. I mean, they might hang around there some, but you just caught it right. You know, like that school was coming through and just hung out there. That's crazy.
It was wild.
Was the weather bad that day, or like not bad, but like was it windy?
It started picking up a little bit that afternoon, but no, it wasn't like bad.
Because I know all the pier rats are like, yeah, when the weather gets bad or windy or something, the wind picks up. That's when the kings really, which is true on the pier. I just didn't know if you can cover more ground in a boat if you have more success on a calm day.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume the rougher part maybe just pushes them maybe more inshore or near that structure, and that's why it's better on the pier. And it may be the same case anywhere offshore. I've not done a ton of that.
Yeah.
I know the days we've caught wahoo offshore has always been a little bumpier.
A little dicey. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. But, well, Brad, it was good to be back.
Yeah. Glad you showed up this time.
I know. Yep. We were gonna do a podcast a few days ago. Literally forgot completely about it. You text me at the time we were supposed to meet. Hey, you coming? I'm like, well, oh, yep. Forgot that one. Sorry, buddy. That was last week. What day was that?
That was a Thursday.
Okay. You gotta understand.
We brought the baby home, and I came straight here.
Oh yeah, nice. How did Courtney feel about that one?
I just live right down the street, so it really wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's all good.
So like I said, my anxiety was really creeping up, and my mind, I was just not like I couldn't think about anything else hardly other than what was before me. Yeah. But I'm past it now, so which is good. Like
back.
Yeah, I'm very thankful I did it, and pushed myself and all that, and it's also very nice too because CrossFit has the open, which is really hard workouts for 3 weeks. So like the 3 weeks leading up to that, we were doing these open workouts every weekend, and then we had the beach brawl. So like for 4 weeks, I had some anxiety like every weekend going into doing those competitions. So I'm past all that. It feels good to just like get back to working out and not
weight off your shoulders,
not being stressed. So anyway, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
Later.